Number 10. Faye Dunaway. Page 6 recently reported the tumultuous downfall of the 78-year-old silver screen icon, Faye Dunaway, who was ousted for her role in Tea at 5. Accused of physical assault, tantrums, and bizarre demands on set. Then always alleged behavior has been a topic of discussion for years. One of the alarming incidents involved Rutanya Alda, who during the filming of Mommy Dearest in 1981, claimed to have been genuinely slapped by Dunaway. Alda recounted, "Instead of doing a stage slap, she slapped me on the cheek hard and for real." Beyond on-set altercations, Broadway wig designer Paul Huntley revealed an incident during a 1966 tour of Masterclass, where Dunaway, dissatisfied with the presentation of hairpins, reportedly slapped Huntley's assistant's hand, leaving the assistant horrified. Page 6 also revisited a claim from the book, Easy Riders and Raging Bulls, alleging that Dunaway made Teamsters flush your toilet on the set of Chinatown in 1974. She supposedly peed in trash cans and threw a cup of urine at director Roman Polanski when denied a bathroom break. In response, Dunaway stated that she had no recollection of these events and deemed them ridiculous. James Woods shared his encounter with Donna Wade during the filming of this appearance of Amy in 1976, claiming she threw something at him for ad-libbing a lie. Woods criticized Dunaway's rudeness, contrasting it with Bette Davis, who reportedly considered Dunaway among the worst people in Hollywood. Page 6 also reported Dunaway's failure to learn lines for Tea at 5, supported by singer Jill Sobul's recollection of Dunaway's behavior during the disappearance of Amy. Sobul described that away as hours late, in a foul mood, yelling at people, and storming off the set, creating a scene reminiscent of Valley of the Dolls. Number 9. Elizabeth Taylor. In the late 1950s, the Hollywood headlines were ablaze with a scandalous love affair that unfolded between Elizabeth Taylor and singer Eddie Fisher. The twist in this tale: Fisher was initially the best man in Taylor's third wedding to producer Mike Todd, who tragically passed away. Meanwhile, Fisher was married to actor Debbie Reynolds, and the social dynamics of these two couples were about to take a dramatic turn. Taylor and Reynolds had a long-standing friendship, dating back to their teenage years, but the sudden loss of Todd shifted the dynamics. Taylor found solace in Fisher, leading to an affair that scandalized Hollywood. The fallout, however, was not evenly distributed. While Taylor and Reynolds weathered the storm, Fisher faced the brunt of public outrage and professional consequences. The affair had a severe impact on Fisher's career, with contracts being canceled due to morality clauses. Todd Fisher, Eddie Fisher's son, revealed the extent of the fallout, stating, "It literally ruined his career. I mean, it just wiped him out." Despite Fisher being both a singer and actor, his professional life took a significant hit, and even his struggle with drug abuse added to his challenges. Fisher, reflecting on the aftermath, acknowledged the overshadowing effect of his romantic life on other aspects. "It wasn't my intention for my romantic life to overshadow other aspects," he said in 1991. "I know that it had." The marriage between Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher lasted for 5 years, but it began to unravel 2 years in. Taylor's iconic role in Cleopatra, alongside Richard Burton, fueled a highly publicized affair that eventually led to a divorce between Taylor and Fisher in 1964. Taylor and Burton went on to have their own highly publicized romance, marrying shortly after the divorce. Debbie Reynolds, reflecting on the doomed union, foresaw its demise, commenting, "I warned Eddie that she'd kick him out after a year and a half, and that's exactly what happened, which gave me at least a little comfort." Number 8. Frank Sinatra. In 1938, the smooth crooner Frank Sinatra found himself in an unexpected predicament that landed him behind bars. Charged with seduction, a serious accusation in the moral climate of the 30s, Sinatra was accused of corrupting an upstanding single woman in the community. The charge eventually dismissed, leading to Sinatra's brief stint in jail. However, his trust with legal troubles didn't end there. On December 22nd of the same year, Sinatra was back in jail, this time facing charges of adultery. Authorities discovered that Sinatra's lady friend was married, intensifying the legal scrutiny. Despite the initial fervor, the case was dropped, and Sinatra spent a total of 16 hours in jail before regaining his freedom. This episode highlighted Sinatra's womanizing reputation and added a unique chapter to his story life. In a surprising turn of events, the infamous J. Edgar Hoover, head of the FBI, took a keen interest in Frank Sinatra. Hoover, known for his conservative values, in opposition to figures he deemed subversive, opened an FBI file on Sinatra. However, despite the extensive 13-page file, the FBI struggled to find substantial evidence against the iconic singer. The declassified FBI file, dating back to Sinatra's death in 1998, revealed investigations into Sinatra's associations and health records. While there were claims that Sinatra volunteered as an FBI informant, the real curiosity lay in the file's origin. An anonymous tipster, writing to Hoover in 1943, expressed concern about Sinatra's shrill, whistling sound created by girls cheering during his performances. The letter suggested that such mass hysteria could be manipulated, leading to the creation of another Hitler in America. Hoover, ever vigilant, agreed with this assessment, initiating a 40-year investigation into the man whose voice stirred passionate devotion. Frank Sinatra's life, marked by legal entanglements and FBI scrutiny, showcased the intersection of entertainment, morality, and political paranoia in 20th-century America. Number 7. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo, the enigmatic Hollywood icon, was not only known for her captivating performances, but also for her high-handed and sometimes cruel demeanor. In one memorable incident, Garbo managed the unthinkable, hurting the feelings of the usually unflappable Marion Davies. During the filming of a scene, both actresses found themselves on the same soundstage, separated only by the usual canvas. Marion set it an open and almost festive atmosphere, complete with a high English tea served during breaks. Intriguingly, Garbo, known for her elusive nature, decided to breach the usual barriers. She entered Marion's set, took a seat in Davis's chair, and observed for nearly half an hour. Marion, flattered and delighted, decided to reciprocate the gesture. As Marion asked her director if there was a scene that could proceed without her, she intended to visit Garbo's set. However, what followed was unexpected. Greta Garbo, sensing an intrusion, abruptly halted the filming, demanding to know who was present. Fred Niblo, the director, swiftly instructed Mary to leave, emphasizing Garbo's strict rule against anyone on her sets. Undeterred, Marion explained, "I know, but Miss Garbo came on my set, and I thought I'd repay the compliment." Attempting to diffuse the tension, Marion engaged Garbo in conversation on her own set, displaying her social graces. However, Garbo, with her trademark disdain, dismissed Marion's attempted camaraderie. In a cutting remark, Garbo claimed, "You're very funny. You make me laugh. I didn't come over to see you. I came over to see a really great actress, Jenna Goodall." The impact of this insult brought tears to Marion's eyes, but Garville remained unapologetic. As Marion left, Garville's final words stung to me. "You're null and void." This incident, recounted by Marion Davies, exemplifies Garbo's complex and solitary nature, which often bordered on peevishness. Despite Garbo's friends defending her as merely slightly cranky, such incidents reveal the less charming aspects of her personality. Marion Davies, at a later reception attended by Garbo, remarked, "I never saw anyone so peculiar, so shine. And that's saying a lot for this town. A town known for its eccentricities and larger-than-life personas." Number 6. Orson Welles. In 1983, at My Zone, Orson Welles showcased his unapologetic irreverence when confronted by Richard Burton's attempt and a friendly exchange. Burton, extending pleasantries, proposed introducing Elizabeth Taylor to Welles. However, Welles, immersed in his lunch, responded with a dismissive no. And when prompted by his dining companion about the wantless, he nonchalantly revealed, "I told him go fuck yourself." This audacious attitude was quintessentially Welles, a man who spent a significant portion of his life delivering blunt rebukes to producers, directors, and corporate figures, many of whom held the power to shape his career, but often chose not to. Even in dealings with advertisers, who paid him generously for his voice-over work, Welles managed to find fault and lamented being overlooked in favor of his old adversary, John Houseman. Welles, the genius behind Citizen Kane, often downplayed his own masterpiece, once describing it as a dollar book. Freud. His career trajectory was marked by a series of unconventional choices, abandoned projects, and clashes with the industry. A phenomenon athlete termed cinematic ad by Peter Biskin. While Welles, the filmmaker, may have faced criticism for his erratic career path, Welles, the conversationalist, earned adoration for his scarverse wit and self-mythologizing charm. My Lunches with Orson, a compilation of Welles's candid conversations, transcribed in the lead-up to his death in 1985, provides a glimpse into his unfiltered commentary on the film industry, actors in particular, or the brunt of Welles's acerbic observations. Marlon Brando's physique was likened to a huge sausage, a shoe made of flesh, and Bette Davis faced a harsher critique, as well as expressed his aversion not only to her acting, but also to her appearance. Even Humphrey Bogart, recognized for his acting prowess, was inspired, with Welles labeling him a coward who only picked fights when well covered by busboys. Number 5. Spencer Tracy. Tracy's ascension in the film industry coincided with a relocation to a ranch in Encino, California, an attempt to distance himself from his extramarital affairs and the shadows of Sunset Boulevard brothels. Renowned movie director Joseph Mankiewicz encapsulated Tracy's departure from his wife. Louise stated, "He didn't leave Louise, he left the scene of his guilt." Tracy's amorous escapades were an open secret in Hollywood, with a roster of famous actresses, including Myrna Loy, Paulette Gutter, Hedy Lamarr, Loretta Young, Bette Davis, Gene Tierney, Joan Bennett, Olivia de Havilland, Joan Fontaine, and Joan Crawford. Bracing his lists of conquest, Mankiewicz unabashedly remarked that nobody at MGM gets more sex than Spencer Tracy. In 1940, Tracy's infatuation with Ingrid Bergman led to a threat to quit a role if Lana Turner was cast instead. Despite Bergman's marital status and maternal responsibilities, Tracy seduced her, and MGM carefully crafted an image of Tracy as Bergman's mentor. However, Tracy's passionate liaison with Bergman was fleeting, making way for the enduring love affair of his life with Katharine Hepburn. Tracy and Hepburn's romance unfolded during the filming of Woman of the Year in 1941, enduring for 26 years. Despite the film world's awareness of their affair, the public remained oblivious to Tracy's double life as the happily married man, devoutly Catholic actor. Tracy and Hepburn meticulously maintained separate lives, even conducting their trips in discreet locations, like Barmore Castle in Northumberland. However, Tracy's insatiable appetites transcended even a passionate affair with Hepburn. Irene Dunne, Tracy's co-star in A Guy Named Joe, described him as rude and brusque, and revealed his harassment, prompting her to complain to MGM co-founder Louis B. Mayer. Mayer's intervention served as a warning to Tracy. Deceased his advances. Number 4. Errol Flynn. In October 1942, America was still reeling from the attacks 10 months before on Pearl Harbor. Across the Pacific, Americans and Australians were locked in titanic battles against the Japanese on air, land, and sea, especially in the Solomon Islands. On October 17, as Japan launched a vicious attack on American forces on the island of Guadalcanal, news of an Australian-born man, much beloved by Americans, hit the papers. It was the first report of a stunning and dark LA story that would consume public attention. Actor Errol Flynn was accused of raping a 17-year-old girl at a party in Bel Air. Flynn's woes multiplied 4 days later when 2 more charges were brought against him for twice raping a 15-year-old girl aboard his yacht a year earlier. So began a salacious, high-stakes Hollywood saga, opening a window onto a very different world of men than those fighting the war. In this privileged realm, sacrifice and suffering were nowhere to be found. And this test of the statutory rape laws involved arguably the biggest film star of the day. 7 years early, Flynn transformed from an Australian nobody, a Warner Brothers stock player, like a million others, to a Hollywood idol thanks to his casting in the title role of the 1935 film Captain Blood. Flynn quickly became an iconic action hero. His was a mix of physical beauty, devilish charm, gallantry, and a raw colonial masculinity. Enacted in fighting scene, he was so often armed with swords, he earned the sub-brigade of swashbuckler. In 1942, legal proceedings began against Flynn over the 3 charges of statutory rape in relation to the Bel Air party and his yacht. At the same time, filmgoers were watching him play an Australian Air Force pilot, Terry Forbes, alongside future US President Ronald Reagan, in a stirring but improbable anti-Nazi drama, Desperate Journey. As America's war escalated, Flynn, along with hundreds and thousands of others, attempted to enlist in the US Army. At the time of his trial, Flynn had just been granted American citizenship. Due to tuberculosis, he was confined to performing war heroism on screen. Number 3. Marlon Brando. In the harsh light of revelations about mistreatment and abuse, Marlon Brando, the iconic 20th century actor, emerges as a troubled figure, leaving a legacy of pain and suffering in his wake. Rita Moreno, sharing insights into her nearly decade-long relationship with Brando, disclosed a tumultuous, toxic dynamic that drove her to contemplate suicide. In an interview for Variety's Actors on Actors series with Jessica Chastain, Moreno revealed the distressing episodes of her relationship with Brando. She expressed the excitement of being with the Hollywood legend, but detailed the ways in which he mistreated her, pushing her to the brink of despair. Moreno's candid admission included a shocking revelation of a suicide attempt with pills at Brando's house. He and I had had a relationship for almost 8 years. Ultimately, it was exciting to be with Marlon. Oh my God, it was exciting. He was extraordinary in many, many ways, but he was a bad guy. He was a bad guy when it came to women, Moreno, painting a troubling picture of Brando's behavior. This revelation echoes other instances of Brando's questionable conduct, notably documented in his mistreatment of Maria Schneider during the filming of Last Tango in Paris. Schneider, the co-star, expressed feeling violated and humiliated during scenes, raising questions about Brando's treatment of women on and off screen. Moreno reflected on her past self, acknowledging her vulnerability and inability to stand up against Brando's mistreatment. She described herself as a different person, lacking the strength to resist the destructive dynamics of the relationship. While some may argue about speaking ill of the dead, Marina's decision to share her experiences prompts a necessary conversation about accountability, even in retrospect. Brando's complex life, marked by personal tragedy and trauma, doesn't absolve him of the responsibility for mistreating women. Moreno's courage in bringing these issues to light challenges the notion of posthumous immunity for celebrated figures and emphasizes the importance of confronting uncomfortable truths. Number 2. W.C. Field. A renowned gambler and karcher, a gin drinker and hater of children, iconic actor, comedian W.C., a pool hustler, a juggler and an ordinary man struggling against life. W.C. Some widely held beliefs were true. Some were part of the act. But above all, the cantankerous man with a bulbous nose and a drawling voice was one of the funniest, richest, and most influential comics of the 20th century. While Charlie Chaplin drew our sympathy, Buster Keaton earned our astonishment, and the Marx Brothers made us blush, Field spoke directly to what made us human: our dark desires, the unspoken urge for meanness, the gravity which we all held quiet, all the while making us laugh when he got away with it. A man like Fields reminded audiences of themselves, but they hated to admit it. W.C. Fields, the American comedian and actor, was indeed known for having a short temper. While he was beloved for his comedic talents and unique persona, off-screen he could be irritable and had reputation for being difficult to work with. When Fields felt others weren't taking his work seriously, or when he encountered obstacles during production, he would become frustrated. Despite its sometimes challenging demeanor, Fields' comedic genius and unique style and left a lasting legacy in the world of comedy and entertainment. His contributions to film and comedy continue to be celebrated, even if his off-screen personality was known for its sharp edges. Number 1. Humphrey Bogart. One of the biggest stars of Hollywood's golden age, Humphrey Bogart is known for playing gruff and brooding characters in movies like The Maltese Falcon and The African Queen, for which he won an Academy Award, among many others per-IMD. Perhaps Bogart's most iconic role came in 1942, when he played Rick Blaine, opposite Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca. In this classic love story, Bogart fully explored his darker side, and the movie would go on to earn 8 Academy Award nominations, winning 3 via IMD. How much of Bogart's portrayal of Blaine was acting, and how much of it was true to life for the star? Based on reports on his on-set behavior, he was a lot more like Blaine than you might expect. Bogart aside, Casablanca was a troubled movie from the start. According to Alicia, the script was based on a play that had never been produced and it needed a complete reworking. A series of writers were brought onto the production, and it's even said that Bergman didn't know how the movie would end, or which leading man her character would end up with at the resolution, because the script remained unfinished even as they were filming. All this combined, as well as a long list of personal issues, may have influenced Bogart all throughout the film's production. Much like Blaine Humphrey, Bogart was trouble in a very bad place in his personal life. During the production of Casablanca, Bergman tried to bond with the actor, inviting him for meals, but he generally declined, choosing instead to play chess by himself per Alicia. Bogart even ignored Bergman during the production, whenever the cameras weren't rolling. The fact that he was shorter than Bergman and had to sit on extra cushions during certain scenes likely didn't help. What really influenced Bogart's on-set behavior during the production of Casablanca, though, were marital troubles with his third wife, Mayo Methdet, who he would end up leaving for a later co-star, 19-year-old Lauren Bacall. He was 43. He also had a worsening drinking problem. For Showbiz Kai Kai, he fought with the movie's director, Michael Curtis. Nevertheless, Bogart managed real, on-screen chemistry with this leading lady. Bergman and the movie Casablanca would go on to be considered among the very best Hollywood films ever, despite all those production problems. Here are Hollywood's 20 most evil actors who brought drama both on and off the screen. If you found this list as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more amazing Hollywood stories.